How's it going, y'all? So today I want to go through and discuss another important aspect of history. It's the utilization of tools such as boats by humans. This is important because it allows humans to go through and spread from continent to continent, from place to place, as well as bringing goods, materials, and ideas from place to place. We'll go through and build on this a little bit, but that spread of ideas is one of my favorite words. It's called cultural diffusion. We'll talk about it in a second, okay? So, first and foremost, let's define what a boat is. A boat is a watercraft designed for traveling on or across water. Let's go ahead and further define boats. Boats have played an essential role in human history for thousands of years, serving as key instruments for transportation, trade, exploration, and even warfare. From ancient civilizations to modern times, boats have allowed people to traverse vast bodies of water. This is important because it allows individuals and humans to connect distant lands and cultures together. The development and use of boats were pivotal in shaping the world we live in today. This is great because boats allow us to exchange goods, ideas, and even the spread of empires. Whether for peaceful purposes like fishing and travel, or for more complex activities like military strategy, boats have proven to be indispensable to human progress. So how do you go through and expand boats and use boats to go through and conquer large portions of area? You gotta have more of them. These are called fleets. So when you expand the number of boats you have, you're gonna go through and have a fleet. Now, fleets are great because you can have a merchant fleet. A merchant is like the individual that buys, sells, and trades goods, or you could have a militaristic fleet, These different types of groups of ships or naval vessels allow empires to stretch from place to place to place. There was empire we're going to cover, such as the British Empire. The British Empire was known as the empire with which the sun never set. The reason why it never set for was because on this earth, being like a circle, it's a sphere, the British Empire literally had places of it that was under its control, whether it was a colony or a country that was in its control, all around the world. And how they spread from place to place was they hopped on a boat and they went across the ocean from place to place. Now think about it. Back in the day, they didn't have all sorts of cars. They didn't have ways to go through and drive. They didn't have airplanes. And unless you want to go through and walk a very long distance, it's easier to go through and hop on a boat and let it do the work for you, especially if you don't have to go through or actually go through the functions of make it sail. So if you're not a sailor and having to go through and handle the different parts of a ship to make it continuously go, it's a pretty easy way to go from point A to point B, albeit maybe a little rocky when you're going over some bigger waves. Let's go ahead and further explore why boats are important. One of the primary uses of boats throughout history has been for transportation. Before the advent of modern vehicles, boats were the most effective way to travel across seas, rivers, and lakes. Ancient Egyptians, Greeks, Romans, and many other civilizations used boats for trade and exploration. The ability to navigate rivers and oceans allowed for the spread of goods like spices, textiles, and precious metals, linking different regions of the world. Even today, boats remain crucial in regions where land and other types of transportation is just not available. So if you can't walk from place to place, having a boat take you from that place to the place is a good option. This is geographically important to go through and utilize boats in places like oceans or rivers, because places like that are landlocked. They can go through, and a boat would be very important there. So instead of having a boat like on an island, like an island nation, or areas of many rivers and lakes, would be a more beneficial place to have multiple boats. So in addition to transportation, boats have been central to global trade. From the ancient maritime trade routes of the Mediterranean to the Silk Road that connected East Asia to the Mediterranean world, boats were the lifeblood of commerce. The development of larger, more advanced ships during the age of exploration enabled European nations to establish trade empires. This allowed them to exchange goods between the Old World and the New World. The creation of modern container ships continues to fuel global trade today, with goods like electronics, clothing, and food being transported by sea across the globe. Boats also played a crucial role in exploration, particularly during the Age of Exploration in the 15th and 16th centuries. Pioneers like Christopher Columbus, Vasco da Gama, and Ferdinand Magellan relied on boats to travel to uncharted lands and expand the world and put different places on the map. These individuals and their voyages opened up new trade routes and contributed to the exchange of ideas, cultures, and technologies. Exploration by boat led to the discovery of new continents, including the Americas, and ultimately helped shape the modern geopolitical landscape. Boats are able to be used to carry not only goods and help people travel, but can be used to spread ideas. People on these boats can invent new things on their way from place to place, or bring new ideas with them to new places. Boats are used for a wide range of activities. Activities such as like transportation, fishing, recreation, going through and just enjoying like a nice pleasure boat ride on a river or a lake or in the ocean, exploration, and of course for military purposes. Boats can vary greatly in size and design, from small rowboats to canoes to larger vessels like yachts, ferries, and even warships. Generally, boats are intended for use like in inland waters such as rivers, lakes, and ponds, or along coastal areas, and even larger boats can navigate in open seas. The main characteristic that defines a boat is its ability to float and move on water, usually with some form of propulsion, although that is not always necessary. Boats played a crucial role in the colonization of the Americas, serving as the primary means of transportation for explorers, settlers, and goods. In the late 15th and early 16th centuries, European powers such as Spain, Portugal, France, and England used ships and other types of boats to cross the Atlantic Ocean in search of new lands, resources, and trade routes. The most famous of these journeys was Christopher Columbus's 1492. Remember, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. This exploration led to the discovery of the Americas by Europeans. The ships used in these voyages were typically caravels or other types of carracks. Carracks are like a cargo or a freight ship. It was a very, very old school version of that. These types of sailing vessels were designed to withstand long ocean journeys. Once the explorers that were using these boats arrived in the New World, boats were essential in establishing initial settlements, moving between coastal colonies, and the ability to navigate vast oceans. Why were boats critical to the establishment of colonies in the Americas? Well, good question. At this time, Europeans who have never been to this area before have no clue how to survive or what to do. They needed to go through and get supplies, and they need to get supplies from the places they already knew, aka their home. And they can't just, walk across the ocean. No, they can't do that. They're gonna have to go through and have boats bringing supplies to and from them, going through, and they're sending back other types of materials, exporting valuable resources such as tobacco, furs, and like tar. Tar is great for ships and other types of building aspects. They're sending those stuff back to be sold, to purchase supplies, to bring them food and other kind of essentials that they need to go through and maintain a good standard of living. In addition to transporting settlers and supplies, boats shaped the development of the Americas. Colonists brought with them on boats things like crops, livestock, and tools, all of which were essential for building new societies in the Americas. At the same time, they took resources like gold, silver, and tobacco back to Europe. That way they can go through and pay for their new supplies. It's a continuous cycle, right? As European powers established their colonies, maritime routes became the backbone of colonial economies, allowing these individuals to ship goods and maintain control over vast territories. Thusly, boats were not only vital for physical settlement, but also for economic and cultural exchange that defined the era of European colonization. We're almost done. So, finally, boats have been used in warfare for thousands of years, right? From ancient naval battles where they're using arrows, bows, spears, launching vats of Greek fire, which is like oil, which is oil they throw and light it on fire, right? Those type of ancient naval battles to modern day conflicts, battleships, going through and seeing cruisers, aircraft carriers, all these kind of cool types of ships. These boats, no matter what age, have provided a strategic advantage on the water. The Vikings, for example, used longships to raid and conquer vast territories across Europe. They're one of the first explorers to ever find, North America, one of the first European explorers, should I add. Bringing it back to the present, in the 20th century, boats became vital in naval warfare, with like aircraft carriers, submarines, and destroyers playing key roles in both world wars world wars and beyond. Even in modern times, naval forces rely on boats for transportation and bringing goods to and from different parts of the world. All right, almost up. In conclusion, boats are far more than just vessels for travel. They are critical to human history, culture, and progress. Whether for trade, exploration, or military strategy, boats have allowed humanity to conquer the seas, connect distant lands, and share knowledge and resources. The importance of boats continues in the modern world to this day, with shipping and maritime activities supporting the global economy. It supports the global economy by providing transportation to regions that land-based vehicles cannot reach, therefore allowing things to be bought and sold in places where they could not normally go to. As technology advances, boats will still remain a vital part in continuing to shape the world in ways that we can only begin to imagine. So thank y'all. I hope y'all learned something. And if you have any questions for me, don't feel free to ask me or drop it in the comments. And I hope you have a great day.